Welcome again to the Old Principle. I am the Old Principle, and we're going to have another interesting lesson. Today we're going to talk about a real person, a real historical person. And the minute you hear his name, maybe not in English, but certainly in Chinese, you'll recognize the person. So this is lesson number 175. Here is an artist picture of Einstein. Einstein. Is that the way you say it? Einstein. Some people consider him a very great person. And we'll talk about that. But first, we need to listen to the story. So stay by while the story is read to you.
Story 175.
The Great Forgetter. After Albert Einstein received his PhD in physics, he had difficulty finding a job. After a long search, he found one. The man whom Time magazine selected as the greatest man of the 20th century began his career as a clerk in a patent office. He lived far from his work, and while he rode the trolley, he had lots of time to think. It was during this time that he developed the theory of relativity and changed the world forever. As he grew older, he often became so absorbed in his thoughts that he forgot important things. Albert was once traveling by train from Princeton, New Jersey. He saw the conductor coming down the aisle, punching the tickets of every passenger. When he came to Einstein, Albert reached into his vest pocket. He couldn't find his ticket. He fumbled in his trouser pockets. It wasn't there either. He searched through his briefcase, looking in every pocket, but he couldn't find it. He looked in the seat beside him, even took off his shoe, and still he couldn't find it. When he began to look in his breast pocket again, the conductor smiled and said, "Dr. Einstein, I know who you are. We all know who you are. I'm sure that you bought a ticket. Don't worry about it." Einstein nodded his thanks. The conductor continued down the aisle punching tickets. As he was about to move on to the next car, he turned around and saw the great physicist down on his hands and knees, looking under his seat for his ticket. The conductor rushed back and said, Dr. Einstein, don't you worry. I know who you are. No problem. You don't need a ticket. I'm sure you bought one." Einstein looked at him and said, "Young man, I too know who I am. What I don't know is where I'm going."
Welcome back. Now we look at the story of Albert Einstein. The great forgetter, 伟大的忘记者, or 健忘者. So here we go. Albert Einstein received his PhD. Let's just put that down there. When I teach, I like to use my hands. I hate to have nothing in my hands. Okay, Albert Einstein received his PhD in physics. Okay, so he's physics, 物理学, PhD 博士学位 in physics. He had difficulty finding a job. Yeah, nowadays I think that's true, especially because a lot of people are highly educated and they didn't know what to do with a doctor in physics. I mean, this is hard. Okay, after a long search, he finally found a job. Now he's lucky. Nowadays, many people, highly educated, 硕士学位、博士学位, but they still cannot find a job and they have to accept a much lower job. Okay, so Einstein was looking for a job. He found a job. Now, when you find a job to your liking, that's fine. But he wanted one in physics. So, after finding a job, after a long search, he found the job he was looking for. Going on. The man whom Time magazine selected as the greatest man of the 20th century began his career as a clerk in the patent office. Whoa! Okay, Time magazine. Okay, 时代杂志. Time magazine. Every year they select a famous person, the man of the year. But this one is the greatest man of the 19世纪. Okay, the greatest, 20世纪, the greatest man of the 20th century. 最伟大的 in the 20th century, 20世纪. Okay, he found a job. A wonderful job. What was he? A lowly, 非常地位的 clerk in a patent office. Patent office? A patent office, you know, sometimes when you create something new, 发明一个新的东西, create something new, then you want to protect yourself so nobody else will use it and you can make money. So you apply for a patent. A patent is a protection. Excuse me. So it's a protection so other people cannot use your idea. And so he worked in the patent office as a clerk. You know, 文书. A clerk isn't even as high as a secretary. 比一个书记还要低. And that's where he started his working life. Going on. He lived far from his work, and while he rode the trolley, he had lots of time to think. Okay, so eventually, you know, he became famous, and eventually he became a teacher. But he was a great thinker. It says here he lived far from his work, so he had to go on a trolley. Do you know what a trolley is? A trolley is 电车. So every day he had to go on the trolley, and while he was on the trolley, of course, he had a lot of time to think. Now, you think about it. If you have to go on a bus or a train or a trolley, you know, you waste a lot of time. Isn't that true? In fact, you waste too much time. So what you need to do is you need to make the most of your time. 好好利用这个时间. Now, for Albert Einstein, he was a thinker. He was a brilliant, 非常聪明的思想家. So he had plenty of time to think. He just sat there and thought. Going on. It was during this time that he developed the theory of relativity. Theory of relativity. E, what is it? E equals mc squared. Isn't that the way it is? E equals mc squared. Well, anyway, that's the theory, 的相对论. The theory of relativity. Hey, don't ask me to talk to you about the theory of relativity. That's not my thing. I don't know much about it. But while he was going on the trains, he had time to think, and the more he thought, the more he came up with this famous theory. E equals mc squared. Okay? Now, and this theory changed the world forever. 这个理论就改变世界，这个永远是改变世界。A great, great change. Why? Because of this theory, eventually they were able to develop the atomic bomb. 他们就可以发明这个原子弹等等。So that way, it's very important. During the time that while he was riding on this trolley back and forth, he developed the theory of relativity, and it changed the world forever. Going on. As he grew older, of course, by this time, the older he got, he became a famous professor. And the older he got, he often became so absorbed in his thinking. When it says he became so absorbed in his thoughts, in his thinking, that means he was so concentrating, 把精神集中于他的思想, that he forgot important things. 他很容易忘记重要的事情. I was going to say 心不在焉. Maybe it's even different than that, because he, how can we say? He was very, very forgetful because he was thinking about what he considered important. But the really important things, like where he was going or what he was doing, he would forget about that. Okay, going on. Albert, this is Albert Einstein, was once traveling by train from Princeton, New Jersey. Okay, so he's on a train. He's traveling from Princeton, New Jersey. Princeton, of course, has a very famous university there, and so that's perhaps where he was working. Going on. He saw the conductor coming down the aisle. See, the conductor, okay, the conductor is 车员. The conductor is the one, or 车长, maybe. 车长. Anyway, conductor is the one that walks down there and 验票 or 检票. Say, 车员. Well, let's just say 车员. The conductor was coming down the aisle, 走廊. Okay, so here he is, he's coming down the aisle, and he's punching the tickets. 验票, 检票. Except for, in some places, they actually punch, 打洞. Okay, so he's punching the tickets for every single one of the passengers. This is important. And going on, when he came to Einstein, so he came to Einstein, Albert reached into his vest pocket and he couldn't find his ticket. Okay, so he reached into his vest. Vest is a 背心. Okay, so it's a 背心. Today I brought a vest. Should have brought that here to show you what a vest looks like. Well, 背心, it just keeps you warm. And so he looked into his vest pocket and he couldn't find his ticket. Uh-oh. Going on. He fumbled in his trouser pockets. Okay, trouser pockets, 裤子. And so he was looking in the 口袋, the pockets. The ticket wasn't there either. He searched through his briefcase, 他的手提包. He searched through that, and the ticket wasn't there either. He looked in every pocket, and he just could not find the ticket anywhere. He couldn't find the ticket. 他的票真的是找不到. Going on. He looked in the seat beside him. Maybe the ticket had fallen down beside him in the seat beside him. And so he said, well, maybe it's down there, sitting there. And he looked and he looked and he looked. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. He even took off his shoe. Well, actually, sometimes people hide things in their shoes. But even when he took off his shoe, he still couldn't find the ticket. Now he's in trouble. When you're on a train and you can't find your ticket, you're in trouble. 至少或许要补票等等. Okay? Okay. He looked in his breast pocket. Okay? So it would be a pocket in his coat, and right up here, breast. Of course, this is your breast pocket. Again, the conductor smiled and said, this is the conductor, 车员. He smiled and he said, Dr. Einstein, Dr. Einstein, I know who you are. I know who you are. Well, good. That's encouraging. Somebody knows who I am. Of course, he was a famous man by now, so that's understandable. Going on. We all know who you are. 我们大家都知道你是谁. I'm sure you bought a ticket. 我肯定你买过这个车票. For sure you bought the ticket. I know you bought the ticket. So relax. Okay? I know who you are. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So we all know who you are. Going on. Einstein nodded his thanks. Okay? He nodded his thanks. What do you do when you nod your thanks? Well, 当然你是说谢谢. Okay? But when you nod, you 点点头. Okay? This is nodding. Okay? So nodding his thanks. Well, thank you. I'll see. The conductor continued down the aisle. He continued walking down the 走廊, the aisle. A-I-S-L-E. Isn't that an interesting word? Aisle. 走廊. 人行道. 特别是车上. Okay? The aisle. And he was punching the tickets. 打洞. So, I suppose if you thought about it, Einstein would be very happy because he you know, 他叫通过这个难关呢。The conductor is not worried, so that's fine. Go ahead. As he was about to move to the next car, okay, 他快要到下一个车厢的时候to move to the next car, he turned around and saw the great physicist. 他就转身就见到这个伟大的物理学家，伟大的 because he was a famous man by now, of course. So he saw the famous Einstein, and what was Einstein doing? Going on. Down on his hands and knees. 他爬在这个下面，爬在下面。On his hands and knees, 膝盖和手，他爬在地上。What was he doing? He was looking under the seat for his ticket. The greatest, some people say the greatest physicist ever that ever lived, 非常伟大的一个物理学家 is on the ground, on his hands and knees, looking underneath the seat ahead of him, 前面的这个凳子。What's he looking for? He's looking for the ticket. So, the conductor rushed back. He rushed back to Dr. Einstein because obviously he could see that Dr. Einstein was having a hard time, and he felt sorry for 可能蛮关心的这个老人家了。He was already quite an older man, and he said, "Oh, don't worry, Dr. Einstein, Dr. Einstein, don't worry. I know who you are. I know who you are." Going on. No problem. You don't need a ticket. I'm sure you bought one. 根本没有问题啦。你不需要一个车票。You don't need the ticket. I know who you are. You don't need a ticket. 可我相信你已经买好票。So, I don't know what you did with it, but just relax. So going on. Einstein looked at him and said, Einstein, he looked at him and said, "Young man," 年轻人, I too know who I am. 我也知道我是谁. What I don't know is where I'm going. I know who I am, but the one thing I do not know is where am I going? Now, every ticket has a destination printed on it. 有目的地这个印在上面。So, what had happened? Einstein, the great forgetter, the person who was brilliant, a brilliant thinker, 很聪明的伟大的一个思想家。But he was so absorbed in his thinking that he forgot why he was on the train. And even worse yet, he didn't know where he was going. He needed the ticket to tell him where he was going. This is, I seriously doubt that you and I would have this problem. I mean, you just think about it. Have you been so absorbed, so focused, so much attention on something that you had forgotten other things, maybe important things? Just like my wife the other day. We were going outside the house, and so here we are, we're going outside the house. We opened the door, we're getting ready to shut the door, we're already walking, and then she looked down and she said, "Oh, stop, I got to go back. I don't have my shoes on." 她还穿着拖鞋. So what had happened? She was so busy thinking about what she was doing that what happened? She forgot to put her shoes on. So maybe we're not as bad as Einstein, but we all have the same experience where we get absorbed in our thinking and then we forget what we should remember. Well, anyway, that's the story. Then I entitled this The Great Forgetter, 伟大的健忘者. Okay. Our email address, theoldprinciple@gmail.com, theoldprinciple@gmail.com. And our website, 我们的网站 www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, next time we come back for another lesson, bring a friend and we'll have another interesting story. Until then, bye-bye.